Hi everyone, we're just waiting on Nivek to be able to join and we should be starting pretty shortly. Okay, just setting some things up. I think Kevin, aka Nivek, is on his way. Yes, he's in. So we can take a look at the deck list while we're waiting. We have SamuraiYan, who is on Scorpion, Crane Scorpion, Splash Scorpion. So we're gonna see a lot of Fate Worse and Deathing today. Not so much calling in favors. I think for both players, the calling in favors can be relatively dead cards in their hands. SamuraiYan does have some Flying Katanas and Ornate Fans, but they're not exactly high priority calling in favors targets. Then we have Nivek, who's on Scorp Splash Phoenix. And I know this deck well now as he knocked out my crab deck from the elimination bracket with it. Very powerful deck, has good tools against. Wide decks has very good tools against tower decks, so it'll be a challenge. But Crane is its own special animal with a lot of control of its own. So let's get back and see what's going on. Yep, looks like they've set up. If there's anyone out there, and let me know audio is fine, etc. That'd be great. So we see Nivek, Scorpion got won the die roll, and so starts off with the additional fate, always a bit of an advantage, especially in longer game it should equalize out. We see Bayushi Liar, Scorp, has some magical powers to always have one of those excellent characters. The Maya Mystic is another one of these attachment controls, which is just not going to be very powerful in this game. Always kind of a dead dynasty draw. We see Cautious Scout, which is great for scouting the Scorpion, Deadly Scorpion row. He buys that with no fate. I guess he knows there's 3 assassinations in Nivek's deck, so otherwise, Cautious Scout's always a good one to put some fate on. Buys Liar. I would suspect a pass. Yes, he passes for the additional fate at this point in the game. 7 Politician would be good, but honoring Cautious Scout's not a big deal. So better to pass and actually get the passing fate from Scorpion, which is becoming harder and harder to do. I don't know. Boards are not going to be that wide, so I can make things a little bigger for people watching. I'm going to throw this game. Just bear with me for a second. I'm going to throw this game up just on the L5R Southern Ontario group as well, in case anybody wants to watch. So I'll go offline for a second. So use Staros to draw a card, 5/5. I would be flabbergasted if it was anything but 5/5 in a Scorpion Crane matchup. Okay, Scorpion uses the box, as they want to do, starting below Honor. And so matchup-wise here, I mean, obviously Yoshi's pretty huge, and there's only 2 clouds in Nivek's deck. I mean, the Maya Mystics will be useful for that, is to get off clouds, not so much for attachment controls. And the Social Illusionist is also there, so we'll see who's going to win favor coming out of this turn. I think that'll be with a Yoshi showing on the board. Either if that province gets knocked off, or if Scorpion's able to keep favor, will be pretty big. So Cautious Scout finds Meditations on the Tau, which is a good find, although with a Cautious Scout, you'd like to be blanking something a little more impactful at this point, but you take what you can get. We'll see if he has the bonsai, and we'll see if Nivek has anything in response in terms of assassination or conflict character. I'm sure he doesn't want to have to play a conflict character at this stage against the cautious scout, but he is going in for a water ring to bow the Wayushi Lyre, which is, powerful. Certainly fire is not going to do much with this board. Earth might have been something to think about. But so yeah, either earth or water, I think, were the good rings there. Wayushi Lyre especially annoying for Crane because 0 glory means that they can't do anything to affect it with a stronghold. Barring crazy fiery madness splashes and things like that. So Nivek's thinking on what he wants to do, sorting through his initial hand. It's already up to 10 cards for both of them. Next to 2 storehouses. Meditation on the Tau is not something Scorpion wants to defend that heavily. They'd like it to be out of the way as a non-farmable province, but losing a province this early to Crane, which is usually can be fairly aggressive, maybe not something he wants to do. Plus, the bow will force him to come up with conflict character or something in order to keep the favor away from SamuraiYan, Crane player. So either he doesn't have the assassination or he's trying to bait something for the break here. Let's see. Let's see if SamuraiYan just takes the pass, which seems like a good thing to do. Yeah, takes the pass, gets the bow, gets a lot of value out of that. So we'll see what Nivek's got. No, he doesn't have a conflict character, so he has to pass his conflict. So we'll see if he's just doing that to see if he can get SamuraiYan to come up with another conflict character, or if we're going to have a relatively quick first turn leading to a favor for Crane and Yoshibai. So does Crane want? And he does. He does want to invest. So he invests. Interesting. He puts a fate on the Steward of Law, which means he doesn't necessarily going to go back to meditation. So I guess he's going to scout with the Steward. Not a terrible thing, because either you're going to hit Pilgrimage, which is probably the worst thing right now, because Shameful doesn't do much to you with the Steward of Law. It allows an honoring of a Kachiko if he has it. No, he finds Pilgrimage, which means there's probably going to be no response at all from Nivek. Political Pilgrimage is going to be awfully hard to break with the Steward of Law. 2 fans later, maybe. But it is the Earth. Oh no, the Earth Ring's not going to go off. So it's just basically going to get knock a favor off of Nivek for undefended, and then get a little even more towards the getting the favor. So. Oh, so he did have the assassination. I guess Nivek didn't play it in the first conflict because he suspected conflict character, which makes sense. I think the Crane player has at least 8 conflict characters in his deck. So he assassinates the Steward of Law because it was going to be around next turn, I suppose. Taking him down to 7 honor, which is not particularly a problem for Scorpion at this point. Almost a good thing to be able to turn that box on so easily. So going into the second turn here, got interesting. I don't know if I'd give the nod to anyone. Crane had a pretty good first turn. They scouted out 2 provinces, so they know what's going on there. They got the favor with Yoshi. That's big. But they'll be down a card, and they'll be down 4 fate going into the next turn. Oh no, Kachiko comes down. Ooh, 3 honor catch. So that's a good. I believe Nivek has 2 of them in his deck. 2 Kachikos in his deck. So dropping the Kachiko and keeping the favors. So I don't know. It almost, even though it seems like Crane had all the action, it's looking still pretty even, but not nearly as good for Crane this time. So it's Kachiko. Oh, Kachiko opts to attack, which I can see. He doesn't give a chance to give it the break, but this will mean a favor tie. That's true because of the assassination. So this makes sense too. You don't necessarily need the favor yourself. I think Nivek has one. A censure in his deck, but nothing else really needs favor. So going directly at Yoshi, so he doesn't have to worry about this favor thing turn after turn. And why not, I guess? Why not pick that province? Fertile gets a fate and draws a card. So SamuraiYan, even though he has Fushing Disciple, again, this was second pack legal meta, he has Fushing Disciple, which is not a card you see much after all 6 packs came out for Crane. He doesn't run Cloud the Mind, so this Kachiko is going to be, going to be a problem going forward. Her ability, so Crane can certainly handle it just purely off stats. Oh, we see a young Harrier dropped at the end. A lot of fight for. A lot of interesting things going on out of hand here. I mean, we started the turn with just a Liar versus a Cautious Scout, and we've gone through 3 conflict characters between the 2 players right now, and the Harrier was dropped right at the end to get the favor. And no countercourt games for the Kachiko to be able to break that fertile field, which was pretty big. She re-honored herself with the fire ring, but Yoshi surviving that turn and not getting the province break was pretty massive. So we're 3 fade up for SamuraiYan. Score Crane. Maybe I should with clans. And but the board is much more substantial on the Scorpion side. So he buys another Shiganja. Doesn't really tell us much. I mean, he didn't really have enough fate for Shoju, so this may or may not mean he has the Cloud. He's going to be almost halfway through his deck when he draws 5 again here, so it's a pretty good chance he'll have a Cloud or has a Cloud. He has 2 in the deck. I think SamuraiYan still buys Yoshi. The Doji Challenger is not bad at this stage, but he's not going first. Doji Challenger with Fable Ground is pretty solid, though. So he does buy the Yoshi with 2 Fate, which leaves him a bit vulnerable to Fate Worse Than Death. Often you'll see a 3 or maybe even 4 Fate if you have it, because there's Fate on rings and stuff to give Fate. So we'll see if the Fate Worse Than Death is going to cause a problem given that Yoshi situation. See if we can get him honored up and turn the Voice of Us online. Okay, we'll see if the Cloud comes down here on Yoshi. The only options for Crane, if it does, is he has Calling in Favors. He has 2 Calling in Favors. He could call it onto the young Harrier. So City Open Hand is bowed. Take one over, yeah. So Honor's back up to being tied 8-8 despite an assassination and unopposed from Scorpion. The Scorpion box, so fair and balanced. Meek Informant comes down. Oh, good. Caster's best friend, along with so let us know what's in there. So we got inside. Meek Informant reveals in Crane's hand a Fate Worse Than Death, Omit Defeat, Bonsai, Calling in Favors, Court Games, Fine Katana, 2 For Shames, Kami Unleashed, Steward of Law, Voice of Honor, and Way of the Crane. So that's pretty interesting because he has the way to turn on the Voice of Honor. So for Nivek, it'll really be how many cancels do I have versus how many cancels does Crane have. Because that Fate Worse Than Death is, would obviously be used on Kachiko if Crane thinks he can get it off. So. But it'd be pretty dangerous at this point, having gone through 16 cards. And I believe Nivek is on 1 Censure. Let me just double check. He's on 1 Censure, although he doesn't have the favor. So it'd really be whether he has 2 4G6 or not, whether that goes through. And that's an awfully big. Oh, he doesn't have 4 Fate anyway. So what am I talking about? He doesn't have 4 Fate to threaten it yet. He does have 2 For Shames and a Steward. 1 assassination down for Nivek, but pretty good chance he has a second one as well. This will be an interesting turn. Nivek has full information, so I mean obviously he has a big advantage going into this turn, or going into this turn with the Meek Informant. I mean, Scorp is just same thing happened in my game when it just like second, third turn. I thought I'd done some okay things, but Nivek and his Scorpion just had me on board, had me on Fate, had me on cards. It was surprising to look at the board state. Third turn on. Yeah, there's that Cloud. Yoshi, still a big stat block. So there's nothing particularly terrible with that. He's Since he has 2 court games in hand and a Way of the Crane, he's fairly Kachiko-proof, barring, double Way of the Scorpion, etc. from Nivek, which may be there. He hasn't used any of them yet. But Young Harrier can also be used to protect Yoshi from being dishonored. Both players have a Fable Ground, so there can't be any Fable Ground shenanigans with attack, force defense, leave, etc. Okay, we're seeing the military come in. I suspect there'll be a Young Harrier block here, which actually is good because then it leaves the Young Harrier free. His ability, he can use it to prevent further dishonors on the characters, and doesn't affect his stats if he uses it in the block here. I believe that SamuraiYan is running 2 assassinations, which may come into play. Assassination, I mean, Crane gets enough incidental honor, they might not have to worry about the 3, but if Nivek would 4G Dick Assassination, it'd be good for him, but at the same time, using up a 4G Dick when he knows there's a Fate Worse than Death in hand and a way for him to get up to 4, it's best. Heading back to Fertile Fields. On the Void Ring. Oh, it blocks with the Yoshi. Which is a fairly substantial investment. Oh, political conflict. Sorry, he initiated political conflict. My fault. I thought it was going to be military for sure, given the hefty military stats, political stats available to Nivek. I guess he just want to use them on defect. So SamuraiYan tries to play the court games, which is the Forged Edict onto Kachiko, which I'm sure Crane isn't. Oh. Okay. So yeah, he wanted to make sure that the Voice of Honor was off for his Fate Worse than Death. So, and Yoshi is clouded, so he didn't have an option anyway. So we still have a 3-0 attack on Fertile Fields here. Let's see if there's any pumps to get the break. On the Void Ring. Yeah, so this is kind of the nightmare, right? With a 2, when you 2 Fate, your big characters, you get this. You get the Fate Worse to Death into the Void Ring. He get favorable in the Harrier, but that's not going to do a whole lot. If he can get this Soci-Illusionist dishonored, then he can use his box on it, which I think would be pretty useful. But yeah, I mean, he really wants, but then again, favorable ground and Kachiko as well. So there's the break. Really no chance of stopping it at this point. A no Fate rival could actually stop it. And Kachiko wouldn't be able to send it home. But we'll see. There's still a lot of cards in the hand to be spending all your Fate on a no Fate rival when their board's going to be down already. Next turn. Favorable grounds in to not lose the honor. I mean, he could use the calling in favors and get off Yoshi's ability before Yoshi disappears. I mean, that I can see why that'd be a line. Oh, 4 shames. Okay, interesting. 2 4 shames in hand. That's true. Oh, if the other 4 shame he can use to use his box. This is and win the conflict. Very nicely done by SamuraiYan. Like I'd forgotten already all his cards. I'm sure Nivek Nivek's on 0 Fate, so he has to have he could court games, I guess, to honor his Soci-Illusionist, so he can dishonor instead of taking it for shame. Because if that for shame either goes dishonor or bow, then Crane will win this conflict. At which point I suspect a military water from here. Yep, there's a for shame to bow the Soci-Illusionist rather than take this honor and give the chance to use the box. I don't know. I might have taken the dishonor there simply because then he can't use the box in your Meek Informant on defense if you try to block with your Meek Informant. But the Mika formate's not going to be blocking anything too hard anyway. So this young Harrier can now go back military on water, or it can just pick up fate to be his choice because the Mika format can't attack. So we see a Way of the Crane on the young Harrier. Not something I would expect. I mean, it turns on the Voice of Honor, so I can see it from that perspective. There's the only way. A game of Seldane isn't legal in this tournament, so there's no other way to get. There's no easy way, barring two Way of the Cranes, to get Yoshi back up. And he heads into Meditations. Oh, with the Palace. Sorry, I forgot to mention that it flipped up. That's pretty big. Yoshi's clouded, but still. Getting with the 1 censure, getting the favor is pretty solid, and especially against Cranebox. Political favor is always welcome. Heads back in Earth directly. He's not going to bother trying to stand Yoshi back up for another attack. So just heads back in Military Earth. Apart from Assassination, I don't know if there's anything Nivek can do about this on Zero Fate. So I think it was a well-play turn by both players, both excellent players. I think Crane handled this fairly well coming from kind of a behind position, especially after that cloud went down, to, I think, going in okay position next turn, although still Ketchiko will be sticking around for a while, and it can't be that hard to re-honor her. Let's see. So Nivek's thinking over his options here. Oh, there's a Bonsai on the Young Harrier, which we knew he had in his hand from the Meekin format. Yep, that will be enough to go on the break. So unless there's an Assassination, but we know there's a Voice of Honor. So there goes Meditations and the Palace, which means SamuraiYan will win the favor here. It's the second Meekin format, so at least he'll have a hidden hand for the rest of the game, because I believe there's only 2 Meekin formats on Nivek's side. But again, Scorpion's not the saddest to see Meditations go, because now we have a rule of Pilgrimage, Shameful Display, and Hidden Secret Cache to tack into. So rest of the conflicts are past. There's no political rival or anything coming down from the Crane player. Okay, so we're heading into the next turn. Crane is at, well, they turned the Scorpion box back on, which isn't the most fortunate thing, but slightly ahead in honor. 1 card advantage. Down on board, especially next turn with Ketchiko probably sticking around for 2 more turns, but having a 4 fate advantage. So yeah, this game's pretty tight, pretty interesting so far. Shoju gets dumped. Yeah, not enough fate. It's not the usual massive investment banker Scorpion that we see sometimes. Scorpion flips Vani Diplomat, so they can definitely get the favor back if they want it. And a Banushi Manipulator. So not a strong Dynasty flop, but most of the power's out of their hand anyway. Storehouse for card draw, and a City of Lies, which is pretty powerful economically for them if they can keep it up. And that's either on Shameful or Hidden Cache, so don't necessarily want to attack it if you don't have to. On the Crane side, we have Kudaka, which could enable one of the 2 clouds. Nope, a good Doji Challenger, which is strong going first. And Guest of Honor. So he doesn't buy the Guest of Honor, which is almost a snap buy a lot of times for Crane. At this point, I don't know if he really wants to buy. Oh, he plays Kachiko from hand. That's pretty strong, which we knew he had in his hand. Guest of Honor to with 2 fate seems low for this matchup. I mean, you want Guest of Honor with like 4 fate, as much fate as you could load onto it. So yeah, Savvy Politician comes in instead. I think he wants to bank fate for that Guest of Honor. And I'm sure Scorpion will be gunning to get rid of it. Although going first with the Challenger means that I know favorable ground on the other side means that I don't think Kachiko is going to be as much a big a factor as she would be normally. Manipulator comes in with a fate. Let's just try to get some of that card advantage back. We have 2 fate on the air ring, which might have made it, I think Challenger was the better buy, but 2 fate on the air ring made Kudaka somewhat tempting as well, given that there's not much military presence on the board for Crane. I mean, for Scorpion. So SamuraiYan changes his bid to 4 to put a small amount of politician. So we knew he had a Way of the Crane, so Way of the Crane comes down on the Savvy Politician to honor the challenger, I would imagine. But Yoshi wouldn't be terrible either, given the 3 glory, but the challenger is going to stick around a lot longer, hopefully, unless there's another Way of the Crap. Sorry, unless there's another Fate Worse Than Death coming down. There's a pause. There's no court. Oh, yeah, there's a courtier, so he could be. Nivek could be waiting, thinking on a Forged Edict here, which isn't terrible because you're stopping two honoreds and like +3/+3 stats. Okay, let's see. Yep, that's the second Forged Edict. So, oh no, yeah, second Forged Edict. So 2 of his 4 cancels and censures not online for him, versus no cancels used for Crane. So in the cancel war, it's starting to look fairly good for Crane, but then again, they have to get and keep honored characters to turn those on. It's not the always the easiest for Scorpion against Scorpion. And that's the second Way the Crane used. City of the Open Hand gives back an honor. I suspect that Storehouse will be used. Yeah, Fate's relatively even. Hand sizes are exactly even. Honor's pretty even. Board, I'd give it still slightly to Scorpion, I think. Just because their really big character is going to be sticking around longer than. So he's taking the Savvy Politician into what exactly? No, just the Doji Challenger, yeah. Savvy Politician. No, Savvy, is it political? Is that why he's thinking of a court games honor? But if he takes the political, Kachiko's is going to send either one of these home, so I imagine it's got to be military. And, yeah, Fire Ring to re-honor Yoshi for the political defense, I'm guessing. Leaving a pretty juicy air ring. I suppose 1 Fate versus 2, because the air ring's not that important right now. It's fine. I just as a long game crab player, I always find it hard to pass up the one that has more, because it is denying your opponent as well. But the water ring's also pretty valuable for Nivek as the defender here, if he defends at all. He flips over Secret Cache, so currently not breaking with the City of Lies. And if you attack in a Secret Cache, you want to break it. You don't want to mess around with having that thing get multiple fires. Now Scorpion's got 13 cards in hand, so he's got a lot of tools to deal with this. And unless there's another Way of the Crane, neither one of these characters is getting honored to turn on Voice of Honor. So Kachiko has a 3 military strength. I would imagine Doji Challenger wants to pull in Kachiko, which makes this even harder to break. I guess he just really wanted the Fire Ring and didn't want to go back to Pilgrimage, which makes sense. Although Doji Challenger, pull in Kachiko, attack Pilgrimage would have been another option, just basically trading the Challenger for the Kachiko, and then take the Air Ring because you don't care about the ring effect. I think that might have been also a decent line of play. But, SamuraiYan's a much better Crane player than I am, so. He could have more bonsais, etc. to go over the top of Kachiko. So Nivek's considering whether he wants to defend this or not. He's going to end up, yeah, so he just defends it with Kachiko. Which I can see, because now he's thinking about it. Because yeah, if you defend with anyone, someone else is going to get pulled in. And you wouldn't be necessarily winning the conflict. I mean, you're further preventing the break, but I don't think, like, if you're like Sociologist gets pulled in, then what do you have? You have a 0/0 character left, right? I mean, 4 Fate, and certainly all the conflict characters in these decks. I think there's 8 and 8, but 16 conflict characters between the 2 decks, so lots of stuff comes out of nowhere. So blocks with the Manipulator, just not to lose the honor. Or maybe he's a courtier, so he has 4 shames. Most likely, so he's optioning up a lot of 4 shame options, which none have been played on the Scorpion side, yeah. and he's more than halfway through the deck, so oh, Fate Worse Than Death comes down, a second one. I guess getting them off while the cancels are not available, which is, even though he has a lot of cancels left for SamuraiYan, already two of the big things he wants to cancel are gone. Did he use the... I don't think he actually reduced the cost of that, which I found a bit... Let me see. Does he do the open hand? No, there was no... there was no use of the City of Lies, so I don't know if he plans to use it for something else, or he just wanted to get it off before any kind of honoring. So the Secret Kami comes down. Kami Unleashed, I mean, comes down with 0 fate. He wants to pop it to honor somebody, probably a savvy politician, but he gets assassinated immediately. There's a counter assassination on the Dishonored Manipulator. Way of the Scorpion comes down, so cards are flying now in this conflict. Way of the Scorpion comes down on the Savvy Politician to make it a 0-0. Fine Katana is popped on the Savvy Politician, so meaning he's winning the conflict. So it'll be interesting. I think actually the right thing to do is probably dishonor Kachiko, because honoring Yoshi, I mean, he's not going to be around past this phase. And if you dishonor Kachiko, it's becoming increasingly hard for Kachiko to get re-honored. No court games have been used, so I guess it's not that hard versus 2 court games on Crane's side. So counter court games probably not going to happen. There's got to most likely a political rival in Crane's hand by now, which Kachiko, unless she becomes honored, is not going to be able to send home. Plus favor. So we already had an assassination and there's 0 fate. I don't know if there's anything Scorpion can do about this. Dishonor is a soci-illusionist. That's... Oh, I see. Okay. So he shifted his focus from any sort of conquest to dishonor. Bold against... Well, for 2 reasons. Bold because there's a 2 fate air ring. And that... I mean, there's a decent chance Kachiko plus Illusionist can get. Because there's still 8 political strength. And, well, Scorpion box, of course. So... Interesting. Okay, so yeah, he's going for the immediate dishonor rather than taking the stats off Kachiko. Let's see if this pans out for him. Because Crane's going to drop to 3 honor at the end of this turn. So it's going to be like 3 honor to 2 honor. And if Kachiko and the Illusionist win the air ring, then he's going to drop to 2 honor versus Scorpion's 3. And if he takes any unopposed, which most likely not going to. So, but anyway, it could... I mean, the honor pool is draining very quickly here. And we're 11 cards to 10, so neither player can be that sure what they can do to each other. So Nivek's thinking, I gotta think, I mean, Water Ring, but Yoshi's probably going to block anyway. I gotta think he's going to value the air ring pretty heavily. I think he might even have Goblin Sneak, so let me do a double check, because if you can get that 2 fate... yeah, he has 2 Goblin Sneaks, so again, pretty decent chance. Plus he has Kami Unleashed. So getting the 2 fate off the air ring and the air ring itself could be pretty devastating to Crane's honor total. Here, I mean, the air ring itself, he could Kami Unleash it. Or he could use the Goblin Sneak to get unopposed military conflict. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen a Scorpion game that actually goes to Stronghold break, or often any province breaks. They're just playing to their strengths. I don't blame them, but again, that box is a bit ridiculous. It's so much stronger than any other Stronghold in terms of blanking win conditions. I mean, by my count, it blanks 2 of them. Very hard to dishonor them, and it's super hard to win by honor against them, or nearly impossible. So, not that that's not hard already, but against Scorpion, it's close to impossible as you get in this game. So he takes in the air political with just the illusionist. I guess he's in no rush. So the crane box bows the character without favor. So, I mean, see, he's got his Kami Unleashed as a 2-cost character. I think he may have another. No, the other Meek Informant's gone. He can't afford the Cunning Magistrate. So, other than Kami Unleashed, I don't see he has any options to win this fight. Actually, so that would seem he got the 2 Fate. So I guess that in itself is good enough. And he's certainly going to stop any kind of attack, like any political attack is not going to go through, barring a political rival coming down and just coverting Kachiko, which I think. So Goblin Ski comes down, which makes political rival play kind of very short term. Although, box has already been used. So if a political rival does come down and go around Kachiko, Kachiko, they still have a military though, which Kachiko and the Sneak can win. I suppose you could dishonor. No, I don't see any way to win by dishonor this turn. Oh no, sorry, I do. I mean any unopposed conflict. So a political rival coming down and just going around Kachiko may win by dishonor here. Because he doesn't have to actually win any ring. He just has to go right at Pilgrimage. Interesting. It's going to be an interesting next couple conflicts. Of course, the air ring is still unclaimed. Yeah, that would be the problem. The air ring is unclaimed. So even if you did knock off that 1 point of honor, Scorpion can come back and in all likelihood, especially use all your fate on a rival, in all likelihood win the air ring. Just grab 2 more honor from you and you're about to drop precipitously. City of Lies is used to reduce the cost, so opens up a lot of options, more options. I mean, what 1-cost events does he have? I don't think there's any Maze of Illusion, so like calling in favors would be his 1-cost event that I can think of that he would want to use. He could grab the Fine Katana from the which is not going to do a ton for stats. I mean, it takes Goblin Sneak up by 2. The assassination's already been used this turn, so okay, so they both pass, so we're moving to conflict choice. 1 political left for Crane. He did not play any characters, so either he attacks with the only character he has, military, in an attack he would have great difficulty winning. Oh, sorry, it's political. So he attacks in. I mean, either Kachiko blocks. I mean, if Kachiko blocks and uses their ability, then Yoshi's just going home. So he's taking the water ring, forcing a block essentially. I don't know if he's forcing a block. I mean, a 1-strength Doji Challenger on military is not that imposing. But Kachiko simply, she's just going to immediately likely deny this. And it has to go into secret cache again, which is fine. It's already been used. So that's a pretty quick attack. So we have this Sneak. Oh, Fate Worse Than Death is played on Kachiko. Oh, because all the courtiers were... Okay. But again, Scorpion has the option of the air ring. We see formal invitation on the challenger. Oh, okay. No. I thought for a second that the challenger was going to move in. And then... yeah, he was mentioning he's at 1 with the favor if he's able to move in. And then win. Okay, I see. So his plan was to move the challenger in and take the favor. use the favor along with the bowed challenger to win that water conflict, and he could stand up Yoshi again. Probably not Yoshi, stand up. Well, he has no one with any military strength. That's oh no, the savvy politician. He can stand up a savvy politician. But a calling in favors is used off the City of Lies fate reduction. And then yeah, SamuraiYan's talking about that he thought he had to actually, he thought he could do the hawk tattoo thing and just move straight in, but yeah, it's he wasn't able to. So yeah, so he's not going to win that water conflict. Now he's looking at unopposed here. Air unopposed takes him down to 3, 2 characters, so it would take him down to 1 um, with Scorpion having first attack at air next turn, or void to take away the Doji Challenger, or lots of things to get that last honor off. So I think things are looking tough. At the very least, I would say tough for the Crane player here. I mean, what? But he's going in void. Oh, okay. He's going in void, which will get rid of the challenger. Yeah, I guess he doesn't really need air at this point because he can take air as first player next turn. Yeah, this is the better play. Gets rid of the challenger, so no defender, no board at all, and wipes out, takes Crane down to 2 honor. Here, 1 honor actually because the unopposed. Whew, tough one. You think you're up on fate, up on honor by Scorpion. I mean, he was substantially right, 3. But now all of a sudden he's looking at being equal. No, oh, Scorpion's going to lose 1, 2, oh, yeah. Yeah, 1 as well. So Scorpion will be at 1, Crane will be at 1, but Scorpion has the first attack. So yeah, as often you see in these tight games, first attack is huge when it comes down to this. And even though Ketchiko's dishonored, she's still 3 political on board. Neither player has any fate, so hopefully this guest of honor can do some serious work next turn to stop that air attack. I mean, we have the sneak to come in too, which could potentially get an unopposed. So if air goes off the table and can't defend the military attack, yeah, Crane's definitely on the back foot. We'll see if it can survive this turn. It's very, very close on the honor win condition. 1 broken province. And imagine Scorp's is going to keep going back to fertile fields. Okay, we have Yoshi with the favor, but not enough fate. I mean, if he buys Yoshi, I don't know, that's pretty risky to just buy Yoshi here, even though the 3 cards would be nice. I think Guest of Honor, 2 fate is your play. Although Scorpion's going to pick up most, if not all, the fate on rings. I mean, you could pass in Political Rival. No, you can't do that. Tough spot for Crane. There's lines I think that they could pull it out here or survive another turn, but we'll have to see what happens. And I still believe there's been no court games. Yeah, there's been no court games for Crane, so that Kachiko, the Kachiko can send away most anything that's there to block. And 2-way, the Cranes have been used, so pre-honoring the Guest of Honor is going to be very difficult. Plus his favorite niece is going to cycle out some dead cards, most likely calling in favors. Possibly Clouds because he has no Shugenjas at this point. And this is I mean, if the other turns weren't big, this is big because even if City of the Open Hand can't steal and Crane is looking to lose, Scorpion's looking to lose 2 honor from dishonored characters. So unless he finds a way to honor them both, he's going to lose at the end of this turn. But has I think a favored chance, definitely a more than 50% chance, I'd say, to just win by dishonor the other way. So very interesting game here in the elimination semifinals to see who goes on to play Litors, who is waiting after his loss in the Dragon Mirror on the winner side. Okay. Yeah, not a lot of going on in the comments. It's the middle of the afternoon, so I'm sure a lot of people are not able to watch, but definitely an interesting game. I hope people can catch it on VOD. Okay, consumed by 5 fires. Yeah, certainly not useful at this point. Never really. It was open decklist, so but never really much of a factor because there just wasn't enough fate to take off characters to justify using 5 for that. Now Scorpion keeps a lot of fate instead of like spying this Miyako for existence, so I'm sure they have multiple complex characters in hand, which is going to make this even more difficult. Crane has one character and 2 fate. So they have options on how many Stewards have they played and how many Young Harriers. So there's a Young Harrier left. There is 2 Stewards left, but only 1 for Shame. There's 1 Kami Unleashed, I think. Take a quick look at deck list here. Scorp's got nasty stuff like Cunning Magistrates and another Goblin Sleek and another Kami Unleashed. No, Kami Unleashed has been used, so there's still all the rivals, just all the rivals and 1 Steward. And he can't afford the rivals. Unless, unless Nivek makes a play that I wouldn't necessarily make and scouts around and finds Manicured Garden. I don't know if that's a wise thing to do. Yeah, if this Kachiko gets honored, it'll be huge because... Oh, but then he can't play the court games. If Guest of Honor blocks, he cannot play court games. So this Kachiko is, in all likelihood, not going to get honored, so he can't send away the Guest of Honor. But Kachiko plus Favored Niece is winning the air. And even if he doesn't win the air, there has to be something to stop the Goblin Sneaks unopposed and not getting off a fire ring. Okay, yep, smart. He's going to send in for the military first. Yeah, it's true. He does have more chance of getting off the military victory. And also, conflict characters not going to be able to withstand Kachiko on the political, so even more chance of getting it unopposed there. Yeah, this is... I didn't see this line right away because I was fixated on sort of the bigger political number, but the... Oh, he does go scouting. Interesting. I mean, it's military, so... Yeah, without being out the Bonsai, or... I mean, he does have Fine Katanas in his deck. So a conflict character like... Strivlaw with a Fine Katana is not going to get it done. A small Bonsai and a Fine Katana is what he needs. So back to Fertile Fields. So Guest of Honor does block. I mean, he has to block this. But he needs... Yeah, I just don't know what he's going to do for the second conflict. I mean, Kachiko unopposed. Yeah. And Yan is saying the sneak is going to be his undoing. Because it was a calling a favors target and took enough fate. I don't know what his line is to stop the Kachiko. Or is he talking just about this conflict? Maybe he doesn't have the sword or the Bonsai. Oh, he has one or the other. So he's got a 1 in 17 of just winning this conflict. Yeah. Okay, so Crane gives the good game, and it was very well played by both players. Crane's saying that he screwed up. Yeah, 1 fate missing. Yeah, it's the rival. Omit defeat. Oh, omit defeat on the previous turn. Yeah. Yeah, and the Crane player is saying, Scorpion's saying he had the clarity, so they're talking about whether mid defeat would go through or not in a previous conflict. So yeah, I'm sure he's got rivals in hand by now since he's got 3, but he has no fate. I mean, Guest of Honor with no fate, just painful, but he could have gone for that. Yeah, just so you have enough to get the rival. On the table, but he still have to win this military, so that would require a small Bonsai and a Katana on his part. So he had a very small window to actually... actually, if he could have rivaled, he could have won, like, through a very small line. He could have Guest of Honor, Katana, small Bonsai, asking for a lot there. But then he could have just if he had the 3 fade, he could have dropped the political rival and gone around Kachiko to stand the guest of honor, I would think, because you can't bet against a conflict character. And then use the guest of honor in the political Kachiko attack. Yeah, but whatever. Super tough, and well played by both players. I'm just noodling here, so. um, I mean, he could have forced a block with a Steward too by Kachiko, which would have been another line, unless there was a conflict character, which again there almost certainly is at least one more conflict character. So, okay, well. Oh, thanks for watching, Kibosh. Yeah, it was a real nail biter. Really cool game. So, best of luck to Nivek in his game against Litors, who's both very good players. Dragon versus Scorpion is an interesting matchup. I mean, yes, it is very high variance depending on the province, the order of the province hit, but it can really get down into some interesting decisions. So it's one of those games that's either super good to watch or kind of a blowout based on provinces, which provinces are hitting which order. So, okay, thanks to both players, and thanks to everybody from watching. And hopefully I'll see you again for that Dragon-Scorpion matchup. We'll see how the timing works out. Goodbye, everyone.